Hi, and welcome to Creature Corner. My name is Jared Krichevsky. I am a creature and character concept artist working in the industry today. I am also a teacher at the Gnomon School of Visual Effects, where I teach creature modeling and sculpting and intro to digital sculpting. So come take a class with me and we'll make some monsters together. It'll be a lot of fun. We are on part 10 of our Cenobite Dragon series. It's been a long haul, and man, we have such sights to show you. I would never lament this configuration. He's my friend Matt Millard.
Hey man, what's going on?
I'm just trying to get you in there as fast as possible.
That was good. You did great.
So, dude, we have been doing this for like the past 10 episodes. So if you've somehow been like following this, Matt and I have been working on a Cenobite Dragon. That was our prompt. We decided this was going to be a long haul kind of thing just because we can do whatever we want. We're on like 46 episodes, man.
46.
So we just keep going.
Episode 10, the final episode.
Episode 10, the final episode of it. So it's kind of like a season finale, I guess.
It feels good.
Feels
right.
good. Yeah, to wrap this up. And then so man, we're gonna do what we call like a post-mortem. Kind of like talk about the process, like how we got there, like what, and weigh like pros and cons. And this is just kind of something we do in production sometimes, like as you and this is one thing that I used to do with my pieces is I was trying to get better is I would like sit back, I would like go home and I'd work for the day and I'd pull up my work and like sit back and I'd be like, okay, why don't I like it? like what is like, how much time did I have? What do I like about it? Like, okay, where am I going with it? Just being critical of the process, but not like self-critical.
Yeah, that's what I do with every project I do. Yeah. I send myself like a picture on my phone of where it's at, and then like 30 minutes later, I'll go outside, I'll smoke a cigarette, or the next day, I'll pull it up and I'll get like fresh eyes, and I'm looking at it on my phone, not like knee deep in detail, and I can like really figure out. I'll even go into. I actually did that on this project. I just like brought up the little picture and clicked on draw and just did really awful paint strips on it. Be like, yeah, maybe something like that. And I know what the idea is, but at least you can kind of. I'm always reviewing. At the end of the day, I'm always reviewing everything.
And you have to in order to kind of improve.
Mm-hmm.
It's learning to kind of like have a healthy self-talk. Without being like, without going into like the negative side of things, just being like critical, but, constructive, like, okay, how can I get it to be the piece that I want it to be? What can I do next time? Because, eventually you just need to move on from something. And so Matt and I are like so done. We're so ready to move on and do some other fun things because we have some fun plans coming up for you at the end of October here. And then we head into like turkey season, man. And then we're at like almost a year of doing Creature Corner.
That's awesome, dude.
Which is crazy. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, like, we just keep coming back and just like keep doing it. And it's so fun.
It's really fun, man. You get to set aside some time to have fun with have fun for yourself. You know what I mean? And hang out, meet some people.
I think we just, we do it because we really enjoy the process and like chatting with all of you. That's kind of, it gives us, mana, it fuels us. And, we just keep going and man, that's just the best part. So, we are now an hour earlier, so that's also really helpful.
We like that.
Matt has been begging for this for forever, and at the time I wasn't able to do it. Like it was just like me and the kiddo because my wife was working like such late hours. She was working in production, and those jobs are crazy. She'd come home at 11:30 and, have to be out the door in the morning. So it was like me and the little dude for a while. And I'm like, get to bed so I can go stream. And and now little dude is older. My wife is starting a new job where she's not going to be like working such crazy hours. So now an hour earlier stream is possible, and hopefully we can get more done in the meantime. So Matt, you want to share your screen, and we're going to start talking about the wrap up.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me share my screen.
He's going to share his screen.
Okay, here it comes. Sharing my screen.
Oh, that's your screen. I guess like you got a cool guy. Why don't you show us? Your guy?
Well, this is actually up to hide other images. So I have overhauled my dragon, dude.
Oh wow, it's already 11 where you are. Well, thanks for tuning in. For however long you can stay awake, dude. That's rad, man.
I went in and I did like a final design pass on him. Added some strips of flesh in between the arms, strips of flesh like wrapping around
really
the
cool.
feet.
Looks raw. Yeah, it's cool.
Added some big black like iron horns that are coming out of his skull. I went in, actually gave him some decent teeth, and then added a second layer of
I like the second row. I was gonna say.
And let's see. Yeah, I actually
Brazil.
Brazil. I went in here and added some kind of lament configuration, surface noise.
Oh, sweet.
Leather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this thing's looking pretty gnarly, dude.
Yeah, buddy, that turned out great. I like the transition from the bone to the horn too.
And there's actually, I just did this paint over while I was in the garage waiting on my dog before the show. I'm going to add blood.
You got to add blood.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like that. Just like that. Like in that kind of like design pattern there.
And don't worry, we will talk about Hellraiser without spoilers. Don't worry if you haven't seen it yet. We will avoid spoilers, but we will give our review.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got like
dude, that's rad, man.
I've got the patterning on the leather.
Oh yeah, give me a zoom. Give me a zoomie. Give me a zoomie on the leather. It's really nice. How'd you come up with that? Is it just a? I mean, it's an alpha.
Yeah. So yeah, what I did was, let's see here.
Did you pull an alpha from anything?
I got a lament configuration texture and I filled the white circle in.
Yes.
And then I just used surface noise.
Beautiful.
Right? So I had like this just regular mesh and I put surface noise on it, masked by surface noise, and then inflate to get the
instant
detail.
Lament.
And that idea came from building this character, right? Like I painted this guy a couple of weeks ago or a week or so ago, and I was like, I need a Cenobite that's with my dragon. Like Jared's got his Cenobite, he's got his dragon. And whenever I came up with all this design language, I started to implement it more into the actual dragon. And
I was gonna say the pulled flesh over the muzzle. There, I was like, oh man, that's perfect. That works really well with it.
So I went in, and check that out.
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that sweet? I put like the golden lament.
Having just seen the movie too, like it just fits right in with everything you're doing, man. Grody. That's great.
So yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, I'm in the last 10% of this. I've got to sculpt some shit, but whenever I did that lament configuration on there, I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to put that on the dragon.
And now you got to put it on the dragon. Yeah, because you're building them kind of side by side now.
Right. And whenever I started rendering that guy, I saw his materials, the way that everything was working. I was like, okay, so these are the cohesive materials. This is the look that we're going for. So I've got about 2 or 3 little things that I want to do to finish it up, and I'll start posing, and we'll be good to go, baby.
Yeah. I mean, so it's been 10 episodes, and then, you're putting in time in between.
Yeah, I'd say there's about 35 to 40 hours in this.
Yeah. So like a week of work, if you were doing a solid 40, 50 hour week of work.
And that's from concept, right?
Dude, you fixed the strands in between the wings.
Yeah, I got
really nice.
And
it looks like really fibrous. I like it.
Went in and sculpted the bones, made them a little cracked and stuff like that. And another thing that I did, I had to do it because I was just nitpicking the design. I had to replace all of these hooks with bigger hooks. Like,
is that just for visibility so you could see them, right?
Yeah. And it also just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But what I did for these extra arm pieces was I just duplicated the wing here.
Perfect.
And just cut a couple of strips out. ZBrush them, project up, and then I just had little strips that I would kind of place everywhere. And then I used that mesh by union to get this piece going into these little spikes. So yeah, that's the boy right there,
dude. And that's like, it's the name of the game. It's like block out and then upres.
Yeah, well, you start working on stuff for so long that you're seeing it differently, and the second you see it differently, oh, it's time for like a final design pass. So this is where we're at.
That's fantastic, brother.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Very, very gnarly. You happy?
Oh, dude, this is one of the first pieces where I'm starting to feel like, holy shit, this is a level of completion, Yeah.
You feel like, okay. Very nice. Yes, that boy.
Look at him.
And then, take us through the rendies.
Yeah, I mean, these are the initial renders that I have. I'm reusing some of the materials. I actually went through and made a lot of curvature-based materials for the leather and the scales to get a roughness breakup that you can really kind of see, like in the wings. There's just reflectance variances and stuff like that. But like I said, this is dude. Another thing is
I love that profile view.
I gave him the old snake eye.
Yeah. I like that.
So I'm almost there, man. I'm in my last like 2%, and then I'm gonna go straight to pose, and we'll render out some new shots, and boom, baby.
Boom, baby. Beautiful. Beautiful, buddy. All right. Well, I guess that's a good lead into where I left off. I think I hit my marathon threshold, and I hit a point where I was like, okay, no more. I'm just gonna, just do it. And get it rendered out, because we got like one episode left on this thing. I'm gonna just concept on top of it, and then should I decide to carry on with it, then I'm like, okay, I'll have benchmarks to hit on the next round. But I kind of hit my threshold. I'm like, I'm cooked. Plus, I have the Spooktober challenge going on, which is eating up like a lot of time.
Yeah, whenever I see the ones you're posting of multiples, I'm like, so this dude he's spending time on it.
So like I'm trying to like balance all this time. Plus, I'm working on I have the Home Depot giant skeleton.
Yes.
And he fell down from the wind, and I've been repairing it and then like enhancing the sculpt. So I'm going to make the skull even like scullier.
And
so that's another project like I've got going on at the moment. So I had to be like, okay, what would concept artist Jared do? Like, it would be like you get a deadline. They're like, we don't have any more day. Client says we don't have any more days. Submit what you got, right?
Yeah, we got to bang it out.
Deadlines are important, especially in concept. You're going to be running against deadlines all the time. You're always staring down a ticking clock. Now, games is a little bit different. Pace is a little bit different. For film, they only have like a specific budget that they're gonna spend on you. They have a specific budget that they've got for this and so many artists. So that time is money. So I just went, okay, I'm just gonna rep it out and we'll see. Because I can always continue to come back to this and detail it, and you can do that into oblivion. But I'll share with you guys kind of like hurdles that I came across, but ultimately the design, the look of the thing, I think I attained that hardcore aesthetic that I was kind of hoping to get. And that really came when I hooked those teeth in.
Yeah.
And once you start seeing the leather going on there as well, I'll give you the grayscale. But for posing, I was like, man, because I just did a quick pose, which is like my standard kind of like one leg forward, one leg back,
right?
One arm up, one arm down. Because this concept, I'm going to paint over it, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't really care what the geometry looks like. And then I was just taking elements that I already have and then just kind of duplicating it down, just making decisions. I cut the flaps, right? These things, because I looked at the silhouette and I was like, I want to see the legs. And so I ended up cutting it. And so just being, decisive. Like I've got limited time in my day. I've got a ticking clock, a deadline to go. So I'm just like, okay, cut this. Let's make some decisions. Because, I only have so much time in the day. But then, I felt like it came together when I got the flayed guy in there.
Dude, the flayed man slams, dude.
That felt really fun. And, I do want to keep adding to this. It would really be fun to add more bodies around it and more of the skin kind of wrapping, because I've just seen Hellraiser, so it's like fresh in my mind, and I love the layers and the designs they did. So that's something I would love to incorporate further. But for where I got in the time that I got there, I'm pleased with it. I feel like the look and mainly the things I'm super pleased with is this this kind of like crescent moon, blade configuration. And
dude, he's ferocious, man.
He is very ferocious.
That thing is ferocious.
Yes,
and it looks so good in render too.
Yeah, it does.
Good in render.
Oh, thanks, buddy. And
everything holds. I mean, you always sculpt so nice and tight, so everything. I mean, look at that. You're like zooming all the way in and stuff. Like it's nice and tight, man. It always holds up in render.
I'm particularly pleased with like the eye solution that I came up with, because we originally had the blockers on, and then Matt's like, I don't like it, cut it. And I was like, I kind of liked it, but he was right, because you want to see the eye, you want to see the ferocity in the face. And then my solution came up. I was like, well, duck eyes, because ducks have that red eye with that kind of like blue center. I was like, okay, because I had just been to a duck farm like last month. I went to a duck farm and it was awesome.
I had just been to a duck farm.
Right? And you never know. You never know where that stuff is coming up. Yes. Lightbox, I will be there Saturday all day. That is my day. But then I will be very tired. It will be amazing. I'm super excited. I'm doing a panel with Gnomon. That's at 11. 11:30 to 12:30, and then I'm doing a demo at the Gnomon desk, and I'll be there from like 2 to 4. I think I'll just be sitting there. I don't know. Come talk to me. Come say hi.
To 4.
I don't know if it's all the way to 4. I don't know. I love to sculpt. Come hang out with me and share your milk.
Share your milk.
Share your milk with me.
Share your milk.
Share your milk. And then obviously I didn't get to everything that I wanted to do. I wanted to spend more time on the wings themselves, make the bands of flesh, that they were tied by the chains. That was something that was in the notes that that we were brainstorming with that I just, wasn't able to get to. But I felt like I got to a lot of it. I would have liked to have gotten like more swords, down the tail and, things like that. But at some point, especially if you're going to design on a deadline, you just have to be decisive and just like say, what can I cut? What can I burn through, because you're on a deadline. So here it is in Keyshot.
Yeah, dude, the materials are great.
This is where I really feel like, okay, this is where I was like, okay, I feel like I can move beyond the sculpt, and just looked at it enough to pass it off. Right.
Right.
And that just came from like a lot of the textures that I have collected over the years, which are like meaty brain textures and skin and feet and weird stuff. So I'm building out curvature networks. So if I double click on this and I show you what my material graph is like, it's pretty simple.
I mean, that's the way forward, man.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, and I could definitely get more complex with this. In this case, there's no curvature on it. It's just like straight up meat. But this texture right here, this is like I found the skin of a foot.
Yeah.
And I turned that into a tileable texture, and it's been my favorite texture ever since. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And then this brain vein texture, it comes from a photo that Jared Morantz gave me years and years ago.
Yeah,
I turned that into a tileable texture, and it's been so useful ever since. So these are just kind of overlapped on each other. It's kind of like it's soft lighted. One is soft lighted over the other, and they're both also piped into a bump texture, into a bump add. And so they're both contributing. They're both contributing diffuse and bump to the overall. You don't worry about.
Okay, so yeah, I was wondering how you could. So there's a bump add node.
Yes, yeah, and
check that out.
All you have to do is right click, and you can go to utility bump add, and it'll.
Yeah, I didn't
pop
know
it in there.
Bump add. Let's check it out. See if I don't know if I have it because I don't have the fancy version.
But you can right click on the noodle. Right, and then just go bump add, and it'll add it in the the nose there.
I don't have it.
He doesn't have it.
Yeah, I've got to upgrade mine.
You've got to upgrade. Well, I don't even have the latest Keyshot, which would have they actually have texture painting, kind of like Marmoset.
Oh no, here it is. It just wasn't showing.
It just wasn't showing.
Just, Your Honor.
Your doctor.
Your doctor. He's just Your Honor. Your doctor.
A simple CGI render. It didn't have the node. This is dumb. So dumb. Anyway, so that's how this was accomplished. Was just two textures overlapping each other, but each texture is contributing to the bump, which is breaking up the surface here.
Yeah, that's sick, dude.
Yeah, if I go to like a material, you see there's nothing, there's no sculpting underneath.
Right.
So it's straight up meat. It's just all meat. Now, would I, it obviously if the more you sculpt it in ZBrush, the better it looks in ZBrush, the better it's going to look in render. And I think this is just true no matter what program you take it to, is that it's got to be in the model.
It has to be in the model.
It has to be in the model. And so,
if it's not in the model, it gets sent back to model.
Yeah, it gets sent back. And you might do stages of this, like kind of what I'm doing here, which is I'm going to do a render and then I'm going to paint over it, just to show like, okay, this is where it is. This is where it, needs to go. So paint overs are really handy throughout the process, in kind of art directing the design and the push across there. So, it's a process, and like the more time you spend with the character, the more you can kind of, look at it and decide and add. And thankfully, Keyshot is very fast, to get in and start building this stuff. And once you have your textures, each time you update, you save out your textures, just drop them on again and keep pushing forward. So at a place where I felt like I could like, okay, I can render and present this.
Right. Dude, I mean, it looks awesome, dude. Especially, bring it into Photoshop and paint out paint out some tears on the wings, and I mean, but dude, look at that! Like
this shot in particular, like this is it lives in this shot.
Yeah, and, it looks great.
This like seeing it this way, I'm like, yeah, this makes me happy. And then lighting scenario, very, very simple lighting scenario. I have, let me drop it down for you.
Let me drop it down for you,
Let me drop it down. So our environment, our HDRI is that gloomy, cloudy HDRI that I downloaded from the Keyshot library.
Oh, so that's an HDRI. It's not a backplate.
Right. So it's an HDRI.
Okay. What? Yeah, I was looking for that yesterday.
And then I have a couple of these that I kind of work with. Some have more contrast, some have less, some have a little bit of blur. Let me see. But yeah, if you look around, yeah, it's just pretty much just like a cloudy orb, but it works because it just breaks up the background and I don't feel like I have to commit to anything. It's just like smoke,
Got
it. So that just kind of provides just a little bit of fill. And then we have our blue light in the back. So that's providing our kind of like cinematic moonlight. It's moonlight is really gray in nature, but I like to push it to like a more blue. Mm-hmm. And then soft like little fill light. And then just one kind of main key light. I originally had it on the other side. And then once I moved it over this way, I was like, okay, that's much better.
Yeah,
but all of my textures are pretty much, using curvature or like color composites. The metal is a metallic paint.
Yeah, so there's like a layered texture you can use.
Well, this metallic paint is kind of as layered as you're going to get.
Is that what you mean by color composites? You were talking about soft lighting.
Let me. It's the same thing I did with the meat here, where so I've got a curvature, which is piped into my texture.
Oh, so yeah, you're just using you were saying and you're color adjusting something.
Yeah. I'll color adjust something, kind of in different curvature channels.
Yeah.
As well. And then you can use this is what I was talking about on top of that is like using a color composite.
Yeah, color composite. Okay.
Yeah, and then so let's say I grab that and I grab
look at that
map, pop that in there. Let's pick a nice veiny, just my standard kind of brain vein texture.
Brain vein.
And you turn got the brain vein, and I'll scale it down, and then this is kind of where it acts like Photoshop is. You use soft light, hard light, overlay.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could do that either. I haven't messed around with it enough.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There we go. So I'll kind of like zoom in on a little area. I'll give it a second.
Oh, give it a second.
Give it a second. And then yeah, I'll pipe that same texture into the bump channel a lot of the times, and you just kind of get some extra goodies.
That's sick, dude. That's good to know that there's a bump add node and that there's a color composite node that I learned. So now you can do some pretty solid look dev.
Yeah, you really can.
I'm gonna have to mess around with that.
You can push it pretty hard too, and layer things. And then even when I've run out of kind of layers, they have labels on top of that, and labels act like textures on top of that. So if you want to add blood spatter to something, or example would be, I'll just add a label, and I had to make some blood spatter at one point. So then you can just map on like a 2D texture. Rotate and scale it down.
Rotate and scale it down.
Rotate and scale it down. You can see I've got now he's covered in blood. Probably need to scale it down even more. It's like 1.
And it's being projected by the camera. Oh, I see.
It's projected by this little box here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now I've got this little blood spatter moving around. There you go. You can see it.
Oh, okay. Does it stick to the surface?
Yeah, it does. It's just like a 2D texture map.
Yeah, and it just bakes right on there. That's crazy. That's cool.
Let me grab. Let me do it for the teeth, because I think the teeth would be cool. Let me grab the same.
That's tight.
It's a solid little technique here. And there we go. And then my scene units are centimeters, so everything's super small. Yeah.
Everything all super small now.
Okay, so now I've got blood spatter on the teeth.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what's cool about these labels is they also have separate material channels, so you can dial these in separately.
Oh. And that's really cool, dude.
Yeah. So you can
holy crap. All right.
You see what I'm saying? Here.
I see what you're saying, brother.
You see what I'm saying? And you can change just material type between a few things, translucent and other, any other textures. So very versatile.
Yo, that's sick, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah, pretty rad. And so I would probably, spend some more time doing some blood spatter on the. I mean, hell, we're here.
I mean, let's go.
We're already go. We're already here. We're doing it.
Let's go.
I guess the next thing would be talking about the paint overs and all that stuff.
Let's see. I've got a really funny paint over that I can show. Let's see here. I'll show you exactly how loose ideas can be.
Oh, you can do some really, really ugly paint overs and still communicate, whatever it is you're liking.
Okay.
Yeah. Both dragons in its own style. Yeah, I think that's what's super fun about this is and just the power of different artists is we're going to come up with different solutions, and it's going to be unique to each.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right?
Right.
Is to, get different
Hi,
sets
buddy. You want to come say hi?
of eyeballs on it.
You want to come say hi, little man? Come here. He thinks he's hilarious. Come here. Come and say hi. Yeah, I'm talking to Matt. You want to say hi? Want to say our dragons?
It's a boy.
Is it a boy dragon?
No, it's a boy.
Is there a boy? Yes, Matt is a boy. Matt is a boy. You want to say? All right. Say hi, everybody. You want to say hi? Yeah. You want to say hi to Matt?
What's up?
What's up? This little dude. Liam, what do you think? Let's show him the dragon. Is that scary? Is that a scary dragon? Oh, he gave it a kiss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he doesn't nothing. He's afraid of nothing.
The man loves it.
Hey, buddy. Good night, buddy. Let's see Mom. Good night, buddy. See, like I'm like, here's a scary dragon, and he's like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm gonna hang out with that.
I'm gonna hang out with that, have a good time. So, like these razor blades.
These razor blades.
So these bloody razor blades here. After introducing everybody to my child.
So, anyways,
these bloody razor blades on this demonic dragon, this demonic hell priest dragon.
It's a hell priest dragon. So, like, you probably wouldn't get it, but it's like a hell priest dragon.
It's he's like pleasure and pain.
It's like his big deal. He's like way into it.
He's like really. Yeah,
dude's into it.
He's really into it. Yeah. See, I would definitely want to add more of this stuff all over. And I'm kind of mad that I didn't do it. But we can do a render right now because I one good thing that you'll learn is that you need to save out your cameras. Save and lock down your cameras. So let's say I've got this one. I'm gonna save it. Always good to save. And we'll just do like a little fast render.
A little rendy bendy, if you will.
A little rendy bendy. I don't need more than like 3 minutes. And then we're just gonna go ahead and fire that off. And then while that goes, oh, you're adding splat.
No, man, this is this little vein brush that I made.
Oh, dude, that's brilliant.
I made this kind of flat geo or whatever, and I'll just drop it on. You can I have it set up as a curve brush, as a tripart.
Yeah, but that's really smart.
But I'll just.
Did you draw it on like a flat card?
What did I do? Yeah, I drew it on a flat card, did some Z remeshing, unify it to grid to make sure it's right in 0.
Yeah.
And then I'll just drag it on with a little bit of projection strength and then just hit it with that cloth pull. And since it's single-sided, you go ahead and add thickness on the back end. So
very clever.
So you don't have to worry about, right? And then whenever you put on like a liquid shader to that, which is what I'm going to do right now, actually, we're going to check it out. Let's check
super cool.
it out. I'm going to bring this Keyshot over here. Yeah, see, I added like my basic blood stripes coming from the horns on the head.
Dude.
And now
blood stripe.
Blood stripe. What's up, everybody? We're Blood Stripe.
Yeah. Every Saturday night, Tipton's Bar on the corner of Dalton and 3rd.
Dalton and 3rd. Be there or be square.
Okay, here we go, man. Did we like the new Hellraiser? Well, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it, dude.
That's great. You liked it.
For me, it feels exactly like one of the early 2000s sequels,
Yeah,
which
man. I
which
think
I think
tonally.
is great. But
Yeah.
it feels, just like it. Like you can watch like Hellraiser Hell World, and then you're like, oh, so this is the next. This is same universe for sure. Got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. There it did like everything fit. I like the story, all the twists and turns in there, and obviously the Cenobites look amazing.
Oh, dude, and all of the practical effects, man.
All the effects feel perfectly in line with everything. I think honestly, my biggest disappointment is that the prosthetics and design didn't get a higher billing, because that was a full-on feature of prosthetic effects and creature design, which was it was Keith Thompson who designed the Cenobites, or was the lead, and I think they were called Russell effects. I'm gonna bomb it, y'all, but
I know that I think Tom
look it up.
Masters worked on some of it too.
Did he?
I think they did the practical, like there's a scene where things happen.
Dude, those scales look amazing.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Dude, those scales look so fantastic.
Thank you, dude. I
might have to gank that scale brush from you.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'll load it. Actually, it's right here. Like I was saying, it's just really simple stuff. But whenever you like line them up like this, it's really
that looks
easy.
Great. Yeah,
it's really easy to just and then you make like some weird corners, get the nice overhang. This is for the angles, and then this is like your spikes.
Cool. Yeah.
Right? And so whenever I added these kind of iron horns,
you should go ahead and put that. You should put that on the ArtStation marketplace.
But whenever I could.
Yeah.
But it made this stuff so easy. I'm like, okay, well, I want this bone transition to just rock, and it's just like, chun, 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 chun. But yeah, dude, there it is, right? Translucent blood material on the veins.
Translucent blood material.
Translucent blood, yeah.
Tipton's Bar every Friday night. Dalton and Third.
Dalton and Third, guys. Come on out to Tipton's.
Tipton's. What did we say the name of the band was? I don't even remember.
Oh, man, it was so good.
Blood Machine.
Gosh, I can't remember. It was so good.
It was so good. We were there.
It was a beautiful thing. There we go.
Tipton's, Dalton's, and Third.
But yeah, you can. My computer is slugging along on this.
Is it slugging?
I was particular. Oh, hey, actually, here, let me show this right quick. Here's my paint over stuff. Okay, so I was basically almost in final right here. And then I think like 2 days ago, after I had finished my Cenobite, I downloaded this exact render, pulled it up on my phone. And Jared, check this out, dude. I went, bloop. That's all you need, bro. Because I was like, you know what would be sweet? Some kick-ass horns.
Yeah, man. I like that metal transition. God, the inky blackness on the teeth and the blades there, that's really cool. I'm always a fan of inky black drool on monsters. Yes, Andrew, what's up, man? Look at these beautiful sculpts.
Look at shout out to Fingernail. I saw you say something earlier.
Yes, Fingernail.
Fingernail plays. Always a pleasure to have you, because your name is fantastic.
Hang out. Hang out, Hangnail. I realized
Hangnail.
I didn't have any of my layer passes on. So that's a failure.
That's a Milton Bradley right there.
That's a Milton Tarmers.
We call that a farmer's barn where I'm from. Boy, you wouldn't know a farmer's barn if you... Dude, did you watch Grimcutty?
I am like 3/4 of the way through it, and I'm loving it so far.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, first quarter of the movie. Dude, that thing is scary as
I
fuck.
like it. I really like it. And
it's good. I was watching it this morning. I was like, ooh.
I think it's freaky, and it's just weird looking. And the more of like freaky, weird stuff that we get, the better.
Yeah.
You know, just let people make weird, crazy decisions and let people decide. And I like it. And the seriousness kind of that they give it makes it real to me. You know, they, you know, when people treat whatever it is seriously, I'm going to enjoy it. You know, it's not for the people in the movie don't get to decide about like, oh, what the movie is. Like, we'll watch it and we'll kind of figure it out. But Jared Morantz posted his Grimcutty designs, and that's kind of like what spurred us to watch it. And it's, to me, it's like the most Jared Morantz monster. Cause he always puts his own like monstrous kind of aggression into it. Very, very cool. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody. If you haven't seen it, you want to go check out his work. Check out Jared Morantz's work. But
he is insane.
He is just, you know, he's amazing in every way. So Grimcutty is on Hulu right now, and that's really, really fun.
And it was,
I'm gonna finish it. I had a lot of crunching to do today, so I wasn't able to finish it. But
super like that. I mean, I just feel like we're getting back to like the 2000s creature feature blockbusters, which is just great. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been like seeing that a lot recently, man. Like,
yeah, it seems like there's a resurgence, and I think, you know, I'm 40, so, you know, I'm 41.
Oh God.
So, you know, I grew up in the kind of like heyday of like monsterism, where these kind of like 80s monster movies were huge, and then, you know, into the 90s and 2000s and onward. So it feels like everybody that's my age now is in charge. They're green lighting these kinds of movies, and so we're obviously responding to it because we were of that era. So I'm always interested to see what younger people think of these kinds of movies. Like, of course, I love it. I'm a monster guy. I love, you know, creepy monster stuff.
Yeah, but they grew up with like Saw and Paranormal
Hostel,
Activity.
Yeah, the post Blair Witch era of film.
What's the other one? The Conjuring, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're getting back to like, you go to Blockbuster on Friday and get like some crazy,
like a silly monster movie.
Yeah. It's
there's another one on Hulu like that, like Bad Hair, which is really fun. But like, yeah, I mean, we're monster guys. Obviously, we're gonna love all this, you know, crazy monster stuff. But I think the core of the story, which is the monster is created by parents' anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Spoiler?
I don't know. It's in the.
That's a spoiler.
It's in the description that I read, guys. It's there.
What description, though?
We said it's a monster. That's already a spoiler. The fact that it's a monster movie is a spoiler. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm scared.
I don't know how to talk about anything without like giving some kind of tidbit of information. Anyway,
it's great.
But it's really great so far. I don't know how it ends, so I can't spoil that.
It was a good take, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was cool. It's refreshing, familiar enough, and really fun. That's for sure.
It was fresh. It was filling.
It was a pound of cheesecake, Your Honor.
It was a pound of ground round.
A pound of ground round.
Pound of ground round. And then, dang. Willy Wonderlands was a great homage from Nicolas Cage. A great trash horror movie. Yeah, absolutely. Had that vibe for sure.
It was fun. You know, the whole, I mean, I'll be honest. Jared and I are sick over it to an extent because we had this awesome idea we've been working on for years and
years of development that we were.
And this movie comes out, and it's really in the same vein. It was a fun movie.
Different enough. I think ours has a little bit more heart to it. Like we have a core story that we're trying to tell. So I like to think ours is a little richer. But I liked Willy's Wonderland, so I couldn't be mad. I was like, well, they got there. Like, what am I doing? You know, call my agent.
You know, I like to think that ours was better.
It was better. It was better. But I can't be mad about it. And then, you know, we continue forward.
We move forward, my lord.
We continue forward, onward, making monsters.
There we go. Let's bring it in.
Let's bring it in.
We're going to bring it in and let it sit there for a second. Okay, so we got our bonus blood. Looks great.
Looks great.
We got to do my final poly paint. Add just a little bit of red and some spots. I've got something else in my notebook somewhere, and then it's pose time. Or we'll just go straight to pose time. Let's go to pose time.
You want to go to pose time?
After I get just a little more paint, we're going to pose time. Yeah, that's great.
There we go. And then...
Dude, you have got to see Barbarian, dude.
I know. I really. Is that like, okay, I think I asked you this last time, but Barbarian or Smile?
Barbarian.
If I can see one.
Barbarian. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think Barbarian is a must watch. I haven't been able to talk to you about it. You got to go see it.
Yeah, we were talking to each other for literally 3 hours the other day.
I know.
And
but you hadn't seen it.
But I didn't ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Barbarian or Smile, because they're both getting like huge praise.
Smile, man. Two really good. I'm being for real. I mean, Barbarian fucking slammed.
It slams.
It was great.
Slam-a-ling.
New Hellraiser was great. Grim Cuddy was super fun.
Really
Barbarians,
good.
Smile. What's the other one? Not Rose. I call it Rose every time. Whatever the girl's name is, the prequel to X. I actually rewatched
Pearl.
X. Pearl. Yeah.
I heard great things about Pearl too. Like,
you know, I'm still there. They're good movies. I'm not really fond of them though. Yeah, I'm not like because I even rewatched X recently, and I was like, you know, maybe I've had the wrong mindset or something. Rewatched it, I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's fine, but it's done really well. Cinematography is great, but it's just not really my thing.
Interesting.
But the other one's fantastic.
Okay, so
we're gonna
swap here because I got my 3-minute render. I forgot to hook on all my render passes, so now I've got my render passes going. And basically, I just dumped it into a Photoshop document that I already had open. That's already got all kind of my smoke and layers like that.
Oh yeah, you got a little template or something?
Well, I'll make like one template per project, and then just, you know, dump it over onto each file as I need it. But I don't make like an overall template,
right?
Because I'm like, I don't want to get married to it.
Right.
So I'm fast enough now that I can just make what I need very quickly, and it allows me to like kind of tweak in between each piece without being like. Anyway, so I've got my depth, I've got my AO, and I've got my ID pass. And let me zoom in. Drop in. And then also I've got, from that gloomy environment, I just rendered out the background. These took like less than 30 seconds. And these are just like little smoke layers that I can use.
That's cool. Yeah.
So just to kind of composite in the back here.
That's what we like, John.
That's what we like, Bob. And so I'll just I'll select all the black, do a similar selection, and create an alpha channel. Invert that. And then everything gets cut out from there. So the advantage of this is that it's the environment that I rendered, but it's also I'm controlling the smoke behind it. So I'll usually like screen this over, punch that down, and that kind of pops like some nice blues and some highlights.
Yeah, what do you guys know about blues and highlights, bro?
Justice woke up. What do you know about the blues?
Justice.
But I will I'll always kind of work non-destructively because I'm a coward.
I always switch to non-destructive at the very, very end. I'm like, okay, here's like the process, and then I'll just slam a bunch of crap on the.
I know, man.
I'll like copy merge,
you're like,
paste, and then I'm just like, ah!
I'm gonna be really good this time and work non-destructive the whole time, and then it all goes like to hell when you're like, I'm gonna give him a hat.
He needs a hat. He needs to be taller.
You know what? He needs a hat.
He needs 2 faces.
The man's got 2 to 3 faces.
The boy has multiple faces, Your Honor.
He's not responsible for any of those faces.
He doesn't even know what a face is. The poor sap.
Your Honor, the boy has his normals flipped.
Oh no! Oh no! He did it. He got me. Man, it hurts.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The boy's got duplicate geometry.
No,
he didn't mean to do it.
The flipped normals is
better. It's better.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the 2022 ZBrush Summit? Always. We haven't been able to do it in person, so I'm very excited. I always love seeing everybody and then getting to talk shop.
Dude, I gotta come down like next year.
Gotta do it
just to do that, because I've always wanted to do that. I used to love going to those things; they're super fun. But let's get the sculpt off or something.
Come down, man. We'll get some ham.
Dude, we love ham.
We can get different varieties of ham.
And there's ham to be had.
There's ham to be had. So it's always nice kind of having your character cut out from the background. That way you can kind of control it. And sometimes I'll put levels behind everything just to keep it from going to like to pure black. The guy's just a piece of ham.
It's a piece of cured meat, Your Honor.
It's just a piece of cured. Oh, looks like that AO pass is wrong. No? Yep, that's totally wrong. Ha! Wrong camera angle. That's fun. Slam. I think I did the same thing with the depth pass. Slam.
You just got slammed.
You just got depth passed. Whatever. I don't need it.
No one.
Usually that always happens where I'm like, meh.
Yeah. I'm
right?
like, you know what?
I'm like, I'm going to do all the, I'm just going to paint over it anyway.
It's over.
Is my ID pass even working? Yeah. Well, then I have that. We have that together.
Together as friends, we live with an eternal flame of love. Okay. Okay.
As one does.
That was my last stream ever. Don't know what's happening.
I will very much.
I'm scared.
I will very much. I will very much say something much stupider very soon. I promise. I'm sorry, Your Honor. The boy has non-manifold geometry.
I love how you just went right into it. You're like,
well,
very
that's
soon.
Not. No, I'm quoting somebody else. It's not me.
It's not me. It's DiGiorno.
I used to go to that stuff, but now I'm old. Yes, I am old too.
Dude, Connor, what are you, man? Like 30 years old?
Oh, buddy. Let me tell you what happens at 40. Just you started.
I've been 65 since my mid-20s. This man's he identifies as a 65-year-old man in his mid-20s.
I've been old before I ever knew I was old.
I'll be old again. God damn. Oh, dude. I'm gonna do the material fill on these skulls here.
Oh, take me up to it.
Take me up. You know, I've got all my bonus guys. There's just the swords. They're getting slammed. So I'm just gonna do that beautiful technique where you fill all of a thing with the material. It's gonna be great. And you know what I just realized? I'm gonna polygroup by similar groups. There you go. Much better. And by much better, I mean not really better.
You ever get that thing where you're spending all your time in one program and you're relearning all these hotkeys, and then you go back into Photoshop and all your hotkeys.
Oh, dude.
It's like the eternal battle.
Dude.
Dude.
Babe, wait. Wait, babe. What's the deal here? What's the Marvin Barkle here? Huh?
Who's Marvin and who's Barkle?
Who does the Barkle and who is the Martin?
Martin Barkles. So basically, I'm just sampling color from the render and using a clipping layer. I'm just painting on top.
And you just think you're super cool because you're doing that? Or is it...
I mean, like, you just want to put it out there.
I mean, you just want to let people know, like, you're super cool.
I just want people to, like, to know.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just trying to make a clipping layer, Your Honor.
I want to be an honor, Your Honor. Do you understand?
Listen, young man, I hate to tell you this, but we're going to have to remove your clipping layer.
And then I'm gonna go in. That's bad. You don't want to get rid of that clip.
Oh,
layer.
buddy. Let me tell you something.
Oh, buddy. Let me tell you about some clips and some layers. Little clippies.
Clippy.
Dude, see, I'm going to do the material.
Bastard.
I'm going to do that material fill on all the hilts of my swords as well. See, then we're just going to be having a solid time.
We're just having a good time.
Everybody wants to have a good time. Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
What do we got?
Good lighting. And then basically you just start painting over to kind of accentuate some of the lighting. And in a way, you want to kind of mess up the render a little bit. Add some, like, especially like here in the wing flappies. I'll sample the sky and start kind of eroding the edges.
Mm-hmm. Get that background bounce in there.
Yeah, and I didn't get modeling time to kind of really eat away at this stuff. So if you paint over it, you can add more areas of interest, and the eye looks for things that are too perfect, like clean shapes. So just by painting into the render and kind of chewing away the edges, or even doing like little pops here, kind of doing this. Now you have to pick and choose your battles, because like if I'm just presenting like a side view here, but if I wanted to do this in like a full body view again, that means I'd have to paint like all the same holes in the same places, and so you may not want to do that.
And that's the opposite of Mondo.
Yeah. You're making more work, Mondo.
More work, Mondo.
More work, Mondo.
Understood, Captain. Captain B. Anthony, attorney of Coleslaw.
Start breaking up the, and chewing away the edges just by sampling the background color, and I'll, paint into it that way. Or, you can add a mask as well. Masking is probably better. So I might even sample it. So I'll just sample it. Just sample it.
Doctor, he needs to sample it. What don't you understand?
Get this man a sample.
Somebody sample this man before he turns into a can of peaches. Can of peaches. You're right. It's called being not smart. That is.
If you can imagine what like a 3-hour conversation with me and Matt is like, it's like this.
Dude, we did the Lord's work during that
We've been planning stuff out, and also it's just nice to catch up and just like fart and poop,
Dude, farting and pooping is the way forward. Come on, guys.
We have a good time. There we go. So I decided to paint into the mask this way. Nobody knew who I was before I painted into the mask.
Nobody knew who I was before I painted into the mask. Before I painted into the mask.
Oh, this is a great name. Booty the Goon. Welcome.
Yo, Booty Goon.
Got a Booty the Goon.
The boy is a booty goon.
I'm ready to tweet at you guys that you are beautiful. No, it is you. You are the beautiful one.
'Tis you, my lord.
I am just, oh man, there is so much to catch up on. Buddy, House of Dragon.
Yeah.
You know what? It finally got me.
Okay, so you're liking it now.
Now I'm liking it. And the whole time my wife was like, "Why don't you like it? Why don't you like it?" And I'm like, Game of Thrones.
Nah, so stupid.
And I have watched every episode, but I haven't been like into it. In it.
I mean, dude, I love it. I love that show. I rewatched all of Game of Thrones and I was like, I'm in. I don't give a shit. I don't care what they do. I just want more. I do want the hound though.
I felt like there was a lot of payoff to the drama, so I felt like okay, I get where they were going with it. The appearance of the king is just so cool, and
so good.
Without going into that, but it's just fantastic.
So good
character design. Yes, and the beheading was amazing. So it's great. I finally was like, okay, I like it.
The beheading, you mean? Yeah. That was some classic stuff. I was into that
stuff. Very pleased with that. So yeah, man. I'm finally kind of like on board with it.
Hell yeah! Now we can be like even better friends than we already were.
We weren't good friends.
Like no, I mean we were like really good friends, but now we can be like going steady in our friendship.
You're gonna take me out. We're gonna get a malt.
Yeah, we're gonna get a malt, and you're gonna watch me eat chicken wings, and hopefully you're gonna pay for my gas because I gotta drive the neighborhood kids to school tomorrow on my way to 11th grade.
11th grade?
I don't know what I'm talking about, man. Leave me alone.
I think you're talking about Riverdale.
Oh, nice.
Nice, dude.
Dude, that is pretty nice. All right. I've got one last little note here.
You got a note?
Well, I've got one last thing I need to do here. Okay, yeah, I've got my gold filled in on this. Oh, crap. I didn't do this one. This is also cool, just, masking by the surface noise since it's still live.
Such a cool technique.
And painting on your different material.
So, do you have UVs on that, or you just made it tileable?
Let's see. Yes, I did. I just ran straight through ZUV. Okay, so here's a secret on that.
Yeah, because I've had issues trying to get this same thing to work.
Okay. Here's the deal. Like whenever you have your geo, this is garbage. Now I've added these are additional, but imagine that all of that.
Your polygroups are clean and
it's clean, right? So I have my thickness, my inner, and my outer. And then if you just do this with polygroups, just keep it.
Yeah.
I UV everything with polygroups. That's how I basically determine like my seams. And then you just slap it on there and go to UV and it's fine.
You just slap.
Yeah, it goes to Slap Town. It's a place in the USA. Some of you might know. But yeah, that's what we like. And then I'm just going to go in here, mask by that. Not going to view the mask.
I'm not going to view the mask.
And then I'm just going to paint my beautiful golden boys on there.
And it had a happy ending. That's beautiful.
Isn't it nice just to have a good time? Just to have a good time is nice.
With all of my friends.
We love our friends, especially when we're all having a good time.
We're all having a good time. And then
there we go. So now you can just bring that into Keyshot with I actually made it a leather material because metal wasn't really working. And it looked cool kind of having it being like on my original guy.
I've always found that the gold material that comes from ZBrush to Keyshot works really well for everything, for all the gold stuff. I still have yet to find like a material that works in Keyshot that like has that same. It's a really cool look.
Yeah, and lighting metal is a thing in and of itself, man. Like
it's a whole thing.
They've got their measured and their specular and reflective load set up, and in order to have metal, like you got to have reflection. So that's also why in Keyshot, if you've got it lit a certain way, maybe you'll switch it to plastic just to make it shiny. Be like, you know what, this looks like what I need it to look like, right?
I tend to use a lot of I tend to use a lot of the metallic paint for that reason, because it's got the clear coat roughness.
Oh, dude, that's what I use on all my metal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely helps a lot. Justice is making a point that like they need to take out the baked lighting, the ZBrush materials that would make them all more useful. Yeah, exactly. Like if I had a metal material that reacted to light, it would be much, much better.
Ooh, man, this thing barely moving. He's barely moving, John. There's something wrong with him.
It's chugging, John.
Ooh, I might get my computer before the month is up, though.
Dude, I'm so happy for you. You need this machine.
It's like more than 200% better than my machine currently. So I'm really stoked.
Oh, dude, after I upgraded, I was so much happier because I wasn't fighting everything. You know,
I get to a point where it's like
at the speed of thought, you know.
Mm-hmm. You just get to that point to where you're like, well, I mean, the amount of hours to execute is one thing, but then to finish and render a turntable and do all this other shit, it's like it's gonna take forever, dude.
Yeah.
This thing is nasty.
So if I zoom in here, if I zoom in, you'll see that you can see all the triangles from my decimation. Because in order to pose this, I think I was at like 30 million or something like that. So I just decimated everything low, which, totally messed up my geo. And in fact, I lost all my details before I decimated everything.
Oh, no.
So I wasn't a good boy and I didn't version up.
Oh, no. You got
which was also why I feel like somewhat defeated on this project, because I'm like, if I ever need to go back and like undecimate or, I want to continue on with it, means I got to go back and kind of resculpt all that stuff. But for paintover purposes, when you're looking at your client's looking at it from like here on their phone, like it's fine. It'll pass mustard. But I do like to go in and at least like kind of opaquely brush over this stuff.
Yeah, dude.
It can be a little, it bothers me. And if it bothers me, it might bother someone else. But
unless you want it in the look, yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually use some of that, especially for like robots and other cool stuff. But I'll just kind of like opaquely brush over it and eat away at the specular highlight a little bit. So it's not like glaringly bad. Almost missed the stream. Wow, dragons have progressed a lot. Yes, welcome back. Yeah, man, we are on part 10 of our Cenobite. Is it Cenobite or Cenobite?
Cenobite, tomato.
Cereal bites. But yeah, man, we have been. Thanks for hanging out through this experience.
Dude, it's been a very fun project, and it feels really good to close it. Like, yeah, I mean, 10 episodes that's a good milestone. Like, I will bring up the first. Dude, I'm going to bring up the first Z tool, and we're just going to look like this is where it started, and this is how it ended.
That's a good point. I was going to bring up my my sketches. Let's see if I was smart enough to keep them. I think I saved it in the reference.
Sick. Here we go. This is the last step before the pose here. Got to get in there on that beautiful
detail shots.
On that beautiful material.
It's definitely good to do a lot of detail renders like this before you pose, so you know what it looks like.
Here we go. Boop. Dude, nice. Dude, nice.
Interesting. That's actually a problem. Client approves something looking at the screen on the phone and then lately asking why it looks like crap on the big screen. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the producer's job to be like, you need to look at this on a screen that's not your phone.
yeah, that also is common because you'll have directors or art directors and they're on the move and you're sending updates and they're looking at the phone and they're just like, sure, whatever, looks great. That happens a lot with like the whole rush to like move forward, but then the second you start to get in on the details, it's like, okay, well, that's how it works in every job, man. They're going to be zooming in on shots or zooming in on.
Yeah, I mean, especially like the busier they are, the more likely it is. Like I had a project not too long ago where I sent stuff off to the client sends stuff off to directors was literally like in traffic waiting.
Yeah.
And got the ping on the phone and like had to like pull over to stop and look at it. So it's like, you know, that stuff, but the director was very excited to see it. So if they pull over to look at it, that's a good sign. But yeah, man, like it just happens. The busier you are, the more, you know, producers, directors, art directors, production designers, a lot of the job is email because they have to look at stuff and offer feedback. So they're gonna look at your work very quickly. Their brain is gonna be, you know, go over a bunch of stuff and then they have to like write an email later and tell you where it's at, or they'll just send you a text like, hey, looks great, and you're like, cool, nailed it.
Man, I'm so good.
I am killing this.
And then you get like 3 paragraphs of notes the next morning.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, you get the initial kind of like impression and then they hit back and read. But it's also like, you know, up to the producer and the director to like look at things on a sizable screen. But they will eventually because they have to present it to somebody as well.
Yeah. The last studio I worked at was actually really cool. We had this huge screening room. It was like a mini theater in there.
Dude.
And we would look at all of the shots we would kick out, you know, in high resolution on the big screen, in theater chairs, and we would just speak up and critique on it, you know.
Yeah. Ideally,
oh, this looks like garbage, and you should probably never be in VFX again. Is usually what
quit. Quit what you're doing. You're hurting people.
You're hurting my feelings.
But ideally, like if you know, at a lot of really cool big studios, they have theaters where, you know, they're doing dailies up on a big screen and you're, you know, everybody's spotting stuff and pointing things out. I was at ILM for a generalist internship. And of course, ILM is ILM. So they have giant screen, you know, theaters. They have all these screening rooms, you know, and they pull up the dailies and they go through it. But it's very, very cool. And it's, you know, there's nothing like seeing stuff on a big screen kind of in a theater. And it's very fun.
It's a fun time to be around.
It's a fun time. But you know, it's just the case that they're going to look at stuff on their phone. And the busier they are, you know, you're answering not, you know, a dozen emails a second. So if you like answering emails, maybe producing might be the place for you.
That might be where you like to party.
I mean, scheduling, producing, coordinating, all those things are skill sets. And so be nice to your coordinators, be nice to your producers, because their jobs are hard too. and then you become friends. Dude, that profile is sick.
Thank you, bro.
Jeez, that, you know, the fierceness level just keeps going up. You know,
That's what we like to hear, baby.
I like it. It's very fierce.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Very
let this take. I finally got some different material on the skulls up there. Got some textures going on, but man, I mean, just the beauty renders alone, they're looking pretty cool.
Feels nice when you finally start getting it to a place in Keyshot and you're like, I'm ready to render this.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take a $5, come back and pose it for the rest of the night. That's what we're doing.
$5.
Yeah, I'm gonna let this render out for a minute. I'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes, and
he's gonna take a poop.
I'm gonna release things from my body.
A huge poop.
They're going to fall out. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So come hang out with me as I paint. If you have any questions, come tell me what's on your milk mind. Yes. And pretty much it's, I'm just enhancing the lighting that's there. So just taking the cues from the lighting, thinking about the light logic, and then just kind of pushing it a little bit. And, this would give me information on rendering in the future. Like maybe I need to move over my light. Oh, my little man, you want to say goodnight to the people? Okay, good night, buddy. I love you. Don't.
I just want Mama to be good at things that one in the back.
That's a good idea.
She has to be good at doing that.
Yeah, you're right.
You are good at doing that. But
thank you very much. Good night, buddy.
Good night.
Well, thank you so much. Before I went to school at Gnomon, I knew nothing about this industry. I knew nothing about 3D. And through Gnomon, I found my passion and the thing that sparks my existence. So I'm hopefully passing on my excitement to you guys and, let you know that you're not alone if you're a monster cat like me. I grew up, watching late night monster movies and TV shows. And, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of scary movies, but my best friend was. And so we'd go over to his house and I'd watch all the scary movies I couldn't watch because my mom didn't like scary movies. But I did. Sister liked scary movies. And so my sister would give me Cujo. I would read Cujo as a kid and, things like that. I actually met someone last Sunday who was a Gnomon graduate. That's awesome. Man, I've taught at Gnomon for 9 years now. And, man, the reason why I keep doing it is because the student work just continues to inspire me and it pushes me to get better. And working with students is also just super inspiring to me because I like watching people light up when they, get to make something gnarly that they love. Because we usually do a genre sculpt. So we do the 3 genres: fantasy, science fiction, and then horror. And by the time everybody gets to horror, we've honed the process, and everybody goes crazy during that week. My favorite. Love seeing that stuff. Then I remember, you know, what it's like being a student. Oh, yeah. For me, I like psychological horror, as do I. My favorite author is Edgar Allan Poe. And who is your favorite author? Maybe basic, I don't know, but Stephen King is still one of my favorites. I just read Revival not too long ago, and it was just it floored me. And is King at his best. So King writes a lot. He's very prolific. I love that, and I love his. He also wrote a breakdown of horror called Danse Macabre, and that's an amazing book as well. It's like the thought process of horror and writing. So I love Stephen King on the horror end. On the young adult horror end, I loved Christopher Pike. I read a lot of those books. So the Midnight Club, which is out now, based on Christopher Pike, I'm glad to see kind of Pike get his era. So that's really cool too. But I never read Clive Barker's Hellbound Heart, so I just got my copy in, and I'm gonna read that tomorrow. That'll be really, really fun. Hell yeah, man. Andrew, yeah, heck yeah, man. Andrew took my class, watched him grow, still watching him grow. I love watching, you know, their progress. Like, the cool thing is, like, as a teacher, and I've, you know, kids come in my, you know, they come in and out of my class, and I just watch their careers go up after that, and they just, you know, I walk around the student gallery all the time, and I'm just like, man, they're so good. So it just pushes me. My favorite author is Life. My favorite cereal is Life. So you and me, we got a good thing. Life cereal's the best. Yes. What are you guys watching? Are you guys watching horror movies? I mean, it's Halloween. You got to be, you know, it's the season. We're in the great season of Halloween. Spooky times, baby. Life, the best horror movie. Yes, unfortunately so. Unfortunately so. But that's kind of the psychology of why we like horror, is it gives us that release mechanism. You know, if we can face our fears, you know, in front of us, it gives us that release, you know. Yeah, see, Life cereal. There you go. See, who likes Life cereal? I like Life cereal. Life is always the best. Yes, life is scary enough. So monsters are a release valve for those fears. We can give if we can give a look and a voice to our fears, we can hopefully fight the real horrors of life. Life is especially, you know, in the past several years, been very messy for many of us. Frightening times. We must continue to be creative and create, because we are artists, and that's what we do. Yes, analyze monsters' design. If they're, yeah, I mean, that's, to me, that's my bread and butter. I love looking at that stuff. I love picking monsters apart. That's why I wanted to get into this, because it's so much fun. Light and Magic series. Yeah, I have not watched it yet, but I definitely, it's on my list. Yeah, drama, comedy. We can connect through absurdity and humor, and find, you know, illumination through that way. I Think You Should Leave was one of my favorite comedies of all time, and it's just completely absurd. that's kind of also the beauty of storytelling in general. Is storytelling is a vehicle for us to go have, literally put on someone else's shoes. When you watch a movie, when you read a book, when you read a comic book, when you read a comic strip, you are inhabiting someone else's experience, because we have things called mirror neurons in your brain. A functioning healthy adult with empathy and cognitive processing, you will experience the story through their eyes. And that's because we have mirror neurons, and mirror neurons make us feel how other people feel. And so that's why we like movies. That's why we like stories. It fills a need that we have. And that need comes from, as a primitive species, we sat around the fire. There wasn't much to do. So you tell stories of the hunt or of, the hero going back and bringing experience back to his people. Matt Millard's back.
Marmaduke Femberall.
Marmaduke. I was talking about the ephemeral nature of all experience.
Oh, so we're here.
Where I was essentially I was talking about the hero. I was leading to the hero's journey.
Oh, okay.
Which is Joseph Campbell.
Was it not Megaladesh?
Megaladesh? Like Megalodon?
Yeah, what was the guy's name?
What?
That did the original hero's journey? Megaladesh?
Joseph Campbell.
Megaladesh. What is this guy's name?
What, the original storyteller? Like
Megaladesh. Hero's journey. I'm trying to find it.
Methuselah? Is that who you're thinking?
No,
not at all.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Oh, the Epic of Gilgamesh.
The Epic of Gilgamesh.
The original heroic Mesopotamian poem. We knew that just like off the top of our heads because we're super smart.
Yeah, super smart. Milgubladigga. I mean, it's you know how we do it.
We are smart and good looking.
Farmers, it's time to pose, baby.
Time for posing. So, yeah, man.
Look at this.
But if you want to understand storytelling better, definitely check out Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, which, if you can understand kind of story structure, you'll find out where the monster fits into the story structure. And the monster of the movie is usually a reflection of the hero's, greatest fear. So it's always kind of the thing the hero is most afraid of, manifested in some kind of thing with gnarly teeth.
Manifested in this.
Manifest schmeshterish me.
Dude, I've got to say to you and Justice, this whole delete other subtool thing has saved my life, dude.
Oh.
God, I mean, like, it's just, it has really helped. It's really helped me a lot. Because I'll just bring stuff in and I'm like, now I just feel like I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Just
yeah. Pull it. Now you can pull it in and be like, delete.
Delete those. Just delete them.
Well, Justice keeps bringing out the great tips because I didn't know you could delete from the IMM. And he brought that out last week.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you clever bastard.
See, now I have no anxiety about it, like opening up a 100 million.
Oh, wow. So you were really losing sleep about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, dude, I have to bring this shit in all the time. Que pastalone, jabrone, mommy. You know what I mean?
As one does.
You know what I'm saying.
I know who the milk belongs to.
So why do these keep... Whoops. What does this keep?
We were talking about favorite authors earlier, Matt. Who's your favorite author?
My favorite author is
Marnie Timbleton's.
No. I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. Give me
Having
like
a little bit of a brain fart.
I wasn't expected to I'll say Jim Mars. It's not him. It's oh man, who's the guy that did the Reptilian Agenda? What's his name? Mother F. No. Don't look it up.
Well, what if I want to know?
I'm going to remember it.
What if I want to know just to see if you know off the top?
No, I'm going to remember it. Because he interviews the last Zulu shaman, and the last Zulu shaman, his name was God, what was his name? Matumba.
Okay, I know the name now, but I'm not.
It's not fun.
I don't think this is the right book, dude.
No, it's the right book. You don't. It's the right book.
I don't know. Can I read you the back cover?
No. Don't do
the reviews. Wait, is this a DVD?
Yeah,
man. This is a DVD.
They got all sorts of stuff.
I thought it was are you talking about a book?
I'm talking about a book. I'm talking about this guy that I would at any given point in my life be able to tell you his name, and I can't remember it.
Okay, well,
just give me some time. I'm going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you got to think about it, and it'll just pop in there.
No,
okay,
it's really important. It's really important for me to remember who. I
know who this is. Like, I don't know the book. I haven't read
David Icke. His name is David.
You were right. You were right.
His name is David Icke.
No, Mo Lester.
Oh.
So this is apparently the book that is this the book you're thinking of, The Children of the Matrix?
No, man. Well, I mean, sure. It's really just anything that he writes because he's this conspiracy theorist, right? And he went through all of history and was able to establish a royal bloodline over thousands of years.
Is he taking this seriously?
Oh, yes. It's like yeah. Okay. So whenever I was in my early 20s,
so this was like some QAnon shit before that got big, right? Is that where they're getting a lot of their stuff?
No, I don't know. I would never say that. I would never relate anything that I'm interested in to QAnon. I don't appreciate that.
No, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just wondering if this is where they would get it, because they take they take anything and turn it into a thing.
I don't know, Jared, but I don't like where you're going with it.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
Okay, never mind. Tom Clancy is my favorite author. I love Rainbow Six.
All right.
Forget that I'm a human.
All right. Well, horror author, I said Stephen King, and then Douglas Adams for everything else. Did you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yes, I did. I read Hitchhiker's Guide, and what was isn't there a second one, or am I wrong?
I think it's The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, and
that's right.
There's also So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, I think, which is its own.
I have not read that one.
They're all great. If you like
I can't believe you called me a QAnon.
No, I did not call you a kitten, dude. I know
we are streaming live, and you're like, listen, you're a bad guy. Where were you on January 6th? What were you doing?
Never. I think we were texting on Jan 6th. Because I remember
I was texting from the rally. What? Yeah, I had shoddy reception.
I'm going to finish up on this on the Cenobite tracker.
All right. Well, crap. I had a really kick-ass rock that I made. I guess I didn't save it, but I will show you. I had this pose a while back before I really finished my dragon, where he's like on a rock right here. You like that?
See that? Let me make it big. Oh, right. Dude, that's rad.
Yeah. He was on a rock. I curved his tail and everything, but then I went back in and I finished the model. So now this is not usable because things have changed, but this is kind of where I want to go with my presentation.
Yeah, I think that's
he's, give him a little environment piece.
A digital maquette, if you will. I'm upset. Are you still mad at me?
I'm upset. You made me a bad person.
No, Matt,
no. You're not a bad person. You're not. You just misunderstood.
No, I would never. Jesus.
I'm just kidding, man. No, the story behind it is whenever I was in my early 20s, I was working in restaurants before I was ever in this industry, and I worked with this real heady guy, which if you know what that means, like an old head. He was like an older guy, like Grateful Dead era, smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And had big dreadlocks. He's a super nice guy, super chill. Everything was natural, organic. He was using ghee instead of butter, everything, right? And he told me one day, he was like, yeah, man, like lizard people rule the world. And this was like granted like 15 years ago or 14 years ago. And he told me about this and I was like, yo, that's awesome. I was like, that's the coolest idea I've ever heard of. And then I started researching it and being like, holy shit, there are people that actually think this is real.
Full out. Committed.
And it became a fascination. And so, I mean, I've written, it became a great inspiration for me. And that's how I've started a lot of my intellectual property work is based off of a lot of that stuff. And I love researching it. I love the stuff that David Icke does.
It's one of the great kind of like sci-fi tropes too.
That's awesome.
Right. That an alien species would hide themselves in skin suits to take over the machinations of government.
Right. But I mean, there's reasoning behind it being like, the missing link of the evolution of humans. And this is, supported by, 90% of religions, the whole in God's image, there's wording to where it's like, okay, so we came, something came down here and seeded humanity. Right. And that's the whole kind of, the premise of it. And it's like biblical in nature. And that just makes it more interesting for me, and the fact that these people were like, oh man, like, Princess Diana, the reason she got killed is because in her diary, she was writing about how the queen regenerates her skin, and she like, and it's like, dude, this is sick. It's just sci-fi movie awesome. So
it's all history fiction, but it's.
And dude, I spent years researching it. I have a lizard person tattoo. You've seen it, right?
I've seen it.
Yeah, the pregnant lizard woman.
Yes, I've seen this tattoo.
Yeah, huge fan. So right quick, I've got this.
You're like, you're not helping your case, Matt.
Hey, man. And I live in Arkansas, so it's getting worse. Basically, yeah. So whenever I like do rocks and stuff like this, if I'm trying to do some sort of weird like cosmic rock or something, totally not affiliated with Antifa or QAnon, is I will just make like a spear and I'll just kind of sculpt out some garbage shape and then I'll decimate it really low. So I have all these nice planes, right? And here's another brush I made actually, Jared. We'll bring in, where's my cave wall? I've got a cave wall somewhere. where's my cave wall? Cave plane. There we go.
You had a cave wall.
And so I've got my cave plane.
Where's this cave plane?
It's just a bunch of garbage, right? Like I've got, whenever you're making alien rocks and shit like that, which actually I've spent a lot of time doing recently, and it's pretty fun. You just get some crazy alphas, and you just slam them down. Get some overhangs.
Environments are fun because you just kind of zone out.
And so what I'll do is I'll just get a chisel brush here. I'll go to I'll go from mesh. Take that one from mesh. I'm going to take this one from mesh, and then I'll go back to my ledge man here. There we go. And whenever I start to divide it, I'm going to turn smooth off so that it keeps those decimated kind of planes. Boop. And you can watch it kind of, right? It's really low poly. We're only at 77, and I'm on subdivision like 4 or 5 or something. Let's just delete lower. There we go. And then I'll just start dragging, right?
Dragging on the dragon?
Yeah, I'll just start dragging on dragons. And whenever you go into your low res, you can start to make like primary form changes, right? It's so low res that you're just adding noise by dragging this super, like, look at that. It's just,
yeah.
It goes from being, triangles to rocks real quick.
Did you just decimate that and dynamesh it?
No, it's like I was saying, it's just really low res. It was a sphere that I sculpted into a shape, and then I decimated it as low as possible, like this, right?
Yeah.
So I just make like some sort of spiral shape. Then I, turn smooth off whenever I subdivide, and then just start building up. And because I'm only at 20 grand right now. And right here, I've got all of the forms that I need for rocks.
You're just going to buy him a pound of butter.
I'm just going to buy him a pound of butter.
I'm just going to go buy him a pound of butter.
And maybe I will turn smooth on. Maybe I'll leave it off. You never know. And then from here, you can start, let's turn smooth off. Another thing I like to do is whenever you have these forms, you can just start to mask by cavity or peaks and valleys, right? And so now I'm in the valleys. I'll grow it, I'll sharpen it, and then you can add your additional alphas.
For rocks, use Houdini.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump into Houdini real quick.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get into Houdini. I haven't had a work opportunity recently, but man, I can also take, like, for design purposes, 10 minutes and do this. And
yeah, I mean, like, the faster, like, really, if I don't have to jump into another program, you sculpt it real quick in ZBrush.
Just marble it down.
Just give them a whole basket of ham.
Give them a basket of ham.
A basket of ham. Like Grandma used to make.
Just like Grandma used to make. Okay, cool. Just going to drag some rocks. I can hear. Is that Simon? Who is that?
That's Nala.
Oh, Nala going in.
She's like one of the night stalkers. You know what I mean? She will. Okay. She likes to hunt. They think that your boy likes to bark, right?
My guy barks whenever he's outside. We have a no inside rule.
A no inside bark rule.
But yeah, man, he likes to have a good time out there. He really does.
My dogs are psychopaths, and every day they remind me of this.
I mean, dude, like what we were saying last time, I'll be like out on the porch, like drawing in Procreate, it'll be quiet, and then he's got the biggest voice, dude. The biggest voice. I'm like, oh God. And I'll like almost fall over, dude.
Oh man. Mid-morning is the worst time for them because all the squirrels are really active. And so you'll just be sitting there dead quiet. And then, because I got 3 of them, and they all like burst out of the door, full volume. Incredible. And that's why my hair is falling out.
And that's why my hair is falling out.
That's why all my hair is leaving my body. So right now I'm just painting a little light in there. I'm just using an overlay layer.
Oh yeah, some white and some black.
Yeah, just kind of enhancing the contrast a little bit.
Computer.
This is kind of like one of my favorite parts is kind of like relighting and just kind of adding some additional kind of life to the render.
Yeah, like popping out the highlights, popping out your exposure.
Adding a little I do have an exposure layer, and I have a color lookup, which is just adding some additional contrast.
Yeah, that's a LUT.
And then I got me a LUT, and then a color balance to cool everything off, make it nice. And I think of Hellraiser as a lot of like smoky blues against the red and black and kind of like pale white skin contrast. So that's all things I'm thinking about.
Yeah, dude, that Hellraiser lighting, studied it for a while for my Pinhead piece, and
yeah, because your Pinhead, because I mean you nailed that likeness, and so a lot of like I think really saturated blues in the highlights. What do you think?
Yeah, well, the thing is you start to get into which movie are you trying to replicate, right?
True.
Because you've got different pupils, different skin tones, different makeups, different lighting, and you're looking at a lot of heavy, deep blues and very cool lights in the first film, second film as well. But from there, like things are changing. But those are also like some of the movies where you have that image in your mind. You're like, I remember this one scene. You're like, oh man, that's from like the 4th movie or the 3rd movie, That was one of the coolest aspects in Hellraiser for me is
the new one?
No, in general. Is Dante's Inferno came out, and we had like the 9 circles of hell and all of this stuff, and everybody and their mom went on to paint this fiery hell. But originally, hell was depicted as very cold because it was separate from God's.
It was the absence of God, yeah.
Right? And very cold. And whenever fucking, the Cenobites and Hellraiser or Pinhead comes through and that blue smoke, you're like, ooh, boy. Because they're from hell and they're showing you like, hey, this is the real hell, right?
Yeah, it was just a different vision of hell than I think we had really seen.
It's cool. I'm into it.
And I remember, being as a kid when I saw Hellraiser, being I was too frightened of it because they were so scary. Now, as an adult, I'm like, oh man, this rocks. But one interesting kind of shift I saw away in the new Hellraiser is they moved away from the bondage, the leather. Well,
they replaced it with skin, right?
Yeah, they replaced it, which is it looked so cool. So
it does look really cool, and it is a sensible change to make.
It's a good change, and it makes sense.
It's not as 80s.
Yeah.
There's it's just really pleasure and pain oriented. That it all makes sense to me. But also, it's about as good as they could have done without the original Cenobites and Doug Bradley, right?
Yeah, and
that's as good as it can get.
The layer. The other thing is the layers of the skin.
Everything was folding over, and I love
they were all wrapped. And I was just thinking, oh god,
dude, she's got the fucking little trinket in her neck. Oh, come on, or they have their chicken in their neck.
I really liked Jamie Clayton's Pennywise, Pennywise. My brain is farts. I really like.
My brain is farts.
My brain is farts.
It is made of farts.
My brain has many farts. But man, I liked all of it. It was rad,
dude. Yeah, I think if I were to critique it in an elitist way, it would be interesting because you're starting with, like the victims, right?
Yeah,
the victims in every horror film. That's the first deciding factor. Do you want these people to live or do you want these people to die? Like whenever you watch Friday the 13th, you're ready. You're like, yeah, get these shitty teenagers out.
I hate
yeah, man, this guy is a feminist, and this guy's
this guy's.
I hope he gets stabbed in the face.
Yeah.
So there is an element in this new film which is very traditional, where you have someone searching for
the puzzle,
the furthest experience in physical sensation, right? And they're usually very wealthy people, like kind of Hitler style, they have so much money to just throw out and be like, I need to find the most exotic.
They have underlings that
have got it. Right. And so that element is in here, but in this movie, you have these unsuspecting victims that fall into this trap. And that is a little bit of a separation, but not big enough for it to be detrimental. It's also perfect that it's something a little new, right?
I mean, you every time you do a movie like this, you have to reintroduce it for everybody. So that gives you a vehicle to reintroduce who these characters are, what the world is, what the lore is. It's a introductory kind of way to get here's the world in a world,
Oh, dude. Also, really quick tip to everyone watching. I do this every time.
He's gonna do this every time.
If you're about to T-Pose a model with the subtool master, Transpose master,
for the love of God.
Every time I send it, I'm like, T-Pose mesh, and it goes into my mesh, and you can see my screen right now. I immediately send it back, because you might have hidden geometry, you might have something that's not deleted, and then you'll spend 30 minutes in Transpose, and whenever you send it over, 4 of your files don't link up because it's not keeping your hidden geo whenever you send it over. So I immediately, every time, send it over, send it back, and then what I do, so it came over perfectly, apparently. It's still going. But then what I do is I clone that base model so that I can always, right here, I'll take
all your low res geo. You clone them. You clone the T-Pose tool.
Yeah, I clone this right here. I just go bloop, and now this is my actual default pose. And then on this one, my new one, I'll do my actual pose, right? And then if I send the pose back and I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to plus up the model or go back into sculpting. I'll switch over to my actual base T-Pose mesh and swap that back in very easily, instead of having to manage layers and morph targets and all this other crap, right?
Well, what now? Hang on. Hang on.
Talk to me, John.
So, okay, you T-Pose it over, it sends it over, you've got your merged model, and you clone it, but then you go back to your model, you pose as needed, whatever. Are you saying there's a way to go back and sub it in?
So what I'm saying is sometimes you just want to block out a pose and your model's not finished, or you lock in a pose and
like an ugly pose. Like you're like, I'm just gonna pose it.
No, like a final pose, right? Okay. I mean, the whole practice is this. let's say that this is my T-Pose mesh and I spend 20 minutes posing this, I'm going to have, 500 undo history. And if I want to go back to my base mesh before the pose, I'll have to scroll all the way back in history, risk crashing, take extra time. So what I do is I just clone my default pose just so I can be like, oh, okay, go back to regular and then send it back over.
And cloning it doesn't have, you don't have any problems in T-Pose?
I don't think so.
Like sending it back? Because usually if you change the naming convention,
look, I mean, it's
but
known.
It works. Yeah. It's so weird.
So that's how I do it. That's how I keep like my base pose on secondary. Also, even another step that I always take is like my model is final right now. I'll send it over to T.Pose and I will export as an OBJ. And so if I'm in my posed model, I can just import my base stance and it'll update it like that. So those are so everything's fine. Everything's fine. So yeah, what I'll do is like, let's say here, like literally just for instance, I pose this guy, I'm like, woo! Isn't that a sweet pose? Right?
Yeah, so cool.
But I go over here to my base pose, export, let's say, base Daniel likes coffee, and we'll put that on desktop, right? Put it on desktop, feels good. It's writing the OBJ. I send this pose over. I don't like it, and so I'll go back to this T-Pose mesh with all of my undo history, and I'll just import all of those things you're not supposed to see. Boop. And then you just import this model back to base mesh and send it back over. No problem.
I see. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
It's a way to ensure that you can go back to your symmetrical sculpt. You know
I gotcha. Okay.
But you got me.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Everybody here likes to party, but I don't know if they like.
We love to party. Everybody.
Oh, dude. And I've got a question that you can definitely help me with, bro.
What? Oh no.
It's a big time. I need a lot of help. Are you ready?
Man, I have got anxiety now.
Are you ready?
What?
Are you looking at my screen?
I am.
I've got my gizmo.
You got your gizmo.
I want to switch it over to Transpose.
Uh-huh.
Look up here.
Yeah.
It's gone.
You hit Y?
I hit Y?
Hit Y?
But where is it up here though? Where did my logo go?
Go back to your go to your preferences. I think you just deleted it from your.
But but how do I accidentally
go to preference? Well, it happens. Can restore default. Yeah. See. I think you did a thing.
There is a. Hey, baby. I know. There is a button you can click that will make this go away, whatever that is.
The gizmo. Yeah, hit that.
I mean, it'll just go away though. I don't know what the button is.
I think you were setting a hotkey or something and you just hit it on accident.
No, I don't set hotkeys. You know me. I'm a naked default man.
I know you're a default man, but did you? Nothing happened.
Did I what? I'm just kidding. Hi, big boy. Oh, dude, also check this out. Reason why I swapped over to the Transpose tool was because this actually kind of blew my mind, dude. Ever since they released the gizmo, I've neglected the Transpose tool until probably about 2 months ago.
Oh, man, there's so much good in
literally
Transpose.
Yeah, just forgetting how absolutely incredible this thing is. So check this out. I've got this complicated tail, and I'm like, well, how do I do this? Because if you use the deformers are going to change the vertex count of your model. And if you try and transpose back, it's not going to work. And I'm not going to tell you how mad that makes me. I'm just going to let you decide on your own how aggravating it is.
It sucks. It definitely sucks because I would love
it's
so
aggravating.
much good. There's so much functionality that would be amazing if you could.
So ultimately, I go back to my transpose tool, pop this boy in the middle here, and this is how I got this. Look at this curved tail in this model, right?
Yeah.
Right, like
you didn't
without
use the
having
bend deformer for that, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't in Transpose Master.
Yeah,
you can't do it. And so there's this trick as old as time where you're using transpose. You go to rotate, and then what? Do you hold Control or is it Alt? There it is. Okay, so where your first and your last segment are is going to be the fall off. So luckily, my model has segments. But if I go to this last little segment here and hold Alt, right?
Yeah.
And then I go here and hold Alt. And then if I go here and hold Alt, right? And it's creating the fall off for each segment, kind of like a joint. And it works perfectly since you can't use the deformers. But it works perfectly. You just kind of drag it out. Like this is where it starts. This is where it begins. Hold Alt. That's my point of rotation. And it's going to uniformly bend everything. And uniformly enough, right? Like you can see there's some distortion right here because there's no, skin weights or anything. But dude, whenever I was posing this model originally, I was like, oh man, just makes you sick thinking about all the time you spent not using the transpose. Because look at dude, I'm like 5 seconds in and I've got like a tail whip going, right? So that's
you're masking and you're unmasking and you're blurring.
Yeah, and you're trying to find the right point of, articulation. But right here, you just drag this from start to end, hold the Alt, and then that's your end point. And it's perfect for something like a tail. I was very excited to learn the deformers in ZBrush and then very upset to learn that you can't do them with their posing tools.
I know.
I was like, dude, what is the point? So there have been times where you have to merge you got to make sure everything has the same subdivision levels, you know what I mean? And then you got to merge it all together. And it's like, dude,
it's a law. And you really do have to be methodical about how you get it into pose. Because you will run into little hiccups like that. And it's sad.
Sad stuff is not good, and good stuff is awesome.
We like good things.
Those are the rules.
Back in Candyland here, I've already taken one of these swords that I've rendered, and I'm just populating it now with all the swords that I didn't get to model in.
Dude, you've got like a small light, so it's casting like a nice dark shadow. That's cool.
Yeah. So you just kind of use the cues that the render has given you, that all your lighting has given you, and you just continue to paint on top, doing other things like chiseling into the blades. That way, ways that I'm not able to model in. But using the kind of textures that I built as kind of a guide, you can chew away at kind of the mask, and it just adds, another level of realism in there. And then, my favorite is, again, just that lighting pass just pops all that stuff. Just a nice little overlay layer, and it's real pretty and beautiful. Do you like monsters? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comment. Yeah, dude, it's spooky season coming up. We've got some ideas of what we want to do, but if there's if there's something on your brain, if you got a good idea, you gotta let us know.
We're always open to ideas, and we have we've been doing this a year, nearly a year, and Matt and I are always like, "What are we doing now?"
Yeah.
So maybe we'll take a Twitter poll or something. I don't know. Tell us about your meat.
Show us your family in the form of meat.
Monster design is exciting. I love exploring different kinds of genre and ideas and then pushing them. That is the joy of horror as a genre. Is there's a lot of flexibility in it and a lot of space for horrific things, for horrors to emerge.
Okay, just gonna do a simple pose for tonight.
Brain parasites. We talked about that at one point, didn't we, Matt? We wanted to do some brain parasites.
I remember telling you one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen was a brain parasite.
Just happens to be a brain parasite.
It's just.
That shit's frightening.
Seeing a sack of larvae in the human brain is pretty scary.
Dude, that's wrong. That is wrong.
Like, make you want to leave the earth. Not good.
Nature is the worst, because nature doesn't have like our need for empathy. It just does things, horrible human things. A honeybee raptor.
Them boy doing things.
What is a honeybee raptor?
As far as raptors go, we've been doing dragons for quite a while. So.
Yeah, I mean, like we're kind of
everything dinosaur might be off limits.
Yeah, for a little while at least.
I mean, I love you for your.
Oh man,
recommendation, but
honeybee raptor, but like that's kind of fun. Like if I just do this. There. It would have the head, right? And then the bee eyes. And it's got the big claw here. Instead of the straight tail, it would just have the stinger. And then it would have like a big bumblebee butt.
Yeah.
Right. And he's got like, he would have like the little honeybee wings and like the little. It's a fun idea to explore just as a drawing. Like I don't want to model that right now, but as an idea, that's pretty fun. And then his like antenna would like flow back. It's a fun little idea. He just like runs by. Big worms are the best monsters. I do I haven't made a big worm.
I could get into a big worm.
I could get into a big worm, and I had just tweeted about my love of large one-eyed monsters.
Yeah,
so I'd love to do. Maybe we do a worm monster.
Yeah, dude.
With a big eyeball.
We could go just.
That is kind of something I have been wanting to do.
We could just do 80s creature theme. Like, I mean, we should. Yeah, that is really big.
That's a huge genre. But an eyeball worm monster, I could really get behind.
Eyeball worm monster is an incredible prompt, and it's up there, dude. I think we're
in November because we got to finish our we got Halloween stuff. Question is, Jared, are you going to do Creature from the Black Lagoon as Cuphead style? I don't control the prompts. My friend Josh Potter is leading all the prompts, so I just kind of like I do whatever. But if he doesn't do one, I am going to Send him a text.
Yeah, you got to get in there and demand.
But if I don't get one in, I will do that. And since we're on it, we got about 10 minutes left. Before Daddy needs to nap time.
Yeah, you go to sleep.
Yeah, you get a pickle.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a bowl of cereal. I've decided.
Dude, yes.
Cereal
is a really good late night.
Oh, just the best. So update on the cup. I'll do a cup date.
Oh,
you like that?
Update. I like it.
It's so good. So if you haven't been following, I've been doing every Halloween. I do a Inktober. I haven't done it. I sat a lot of Inktobers out, and I was like, finally, like, man, I'm going to do one. So my friend Josh decided, to let us or to run it, basically run the prompts, so I don't have to think about it. So I started doing this. We started in 2020, and I started with the Batman the Animated Series. And so these were like every day, kind of in the style of all the characters. And I made it even further than this, but I lost the file. It corrupted. And so I was like, I'm going to go back and do it.
That hurts.
It hurts. And, but I made it as far as like these guys, and I'm really, really, really happy with how these guys turned out. So that was 2020. And then I went, 21 was the Mignola here. And
yes, I remember that.
And man, it was really hard. Mignola's style is very unique, and so it hurt. So these are all up on my website. Check them out. But it was a fun exercise, and again, if you do something every day consistently for 31 days, you build up mileage, and you build up like the ability to repeat and come up with ideas. So,
and dude, you learned so
much, and the discipline as well kicks in, and you're like, oh wow, I'm starting to see results.
It's really fun.
It's really fun. And
I've done a couple of those, but I've been also just doing my own exercises every day. So I'm still drawing and illustrating every day. But
yeah,
I love what you're doing this year. It looks so sick, dude.
So that's the Mignola year, and then now we're in Cuphead land. So far we're 11 days in, and I feel like I've got a feel for the style. I'm really enjoying it. Now I've got a process too where I can like rip these out real quick. So I feel like I've got the language down, having a lot of fun with that. And it's fun to look at like the style switches between like the Mignola year and this year.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm redrawing Cthulhu because I was not happy.
Dude, that is awesome. I love that, dude.
So I made him much more like more like friendly this time.
Yeah.
I want him to be kind of like pleasantly destroying everything.
I think that's one of the ones that that's one of the ones that I did. Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah,
I love him.
I felt like the first Cthulhu I did I did it on iPad, and I'm just not comfortable drawing on iPad yet.
Got it. Yeah.
But Krita, which I'm in now, I love this program, and I'm building up a lot of time in it, so I'm getting really, really fast. And anyway, I still have to do the tone work on it, but I really like this guy. Much happier with the original vision I wanted for him. And
it looks awesome.
And now I've got all 11 days of characters in there so far. I'm just going to keep building this out. Today's prompt were the ghosts from the Frighteners.
Yeah, dude. You're doing like more than one character now.
Yeah,
it's insane. That is insane.
The way that it helps. Let me see if I can open it up. What helps to do is if you do like a strip. So that way I would kind of like factory these out, like draw the underpainting or draw my underdrawing and then red over them. So, it gets really fast. These guys went quick because they got no legs.
Mm-hmm.
So because they have no legs, I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm just going to,
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They got no legs. And so these are the guys from the Frighteners. And I think I nailed these two, the Frighteners ghosts.
Dude, they're great. I mean, you're seriously like in the zone on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Like nailing the caricature of these two guys. I love these guys so much. So I feel like I nailed the caricature, kind of like grabbing the essence. And then I've been watching a lot of Cuphead.
Oh yeah, the show is fun. I've seen the first episode. Did you play did you play the game at all?
No, I never played the game.
Oh, dude, it's one of the hardest and most aggravating games. It's incredible.
That keeps me from wanting to play it just because I only have like so much threshold for that stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm like, okay, I got other stuff to do.
He's got a threshold, guys.
But every day, I'm really enjoying popping these guys into the scene and populating it. And eventually, I'm going to do a whole background. I want to do an amusement park.
That's so awesome,
maybe like an amusement park with graves or something, gravestones. And the plan is I want to put the Pale Man as kind of like the mouth of the amusement park.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be kind of open and fun. So, at the end of this, I feel like I've got a group shot.
Is the Pale Man a prompt?
I don't know. If he is, then I'll do something else. I'll figure something else. We'll make sure that it's different enough because I don't want to repeat anything. But that's the beauty of all these horror icons is there's like a million billion of them.
And that's what we like.
And then, today was a really cool day because a little movie trailer called Megan dropped.
Oh yeah. I watched that. For the
feel free to like go on over to YouTube when this is over. Check out the Megan trailer. I had the pleasure of working on this in 2018.
I remember it was a long time ago. Yeah,
it was a long time ago, and I was working on this at the same time as Antlers, actually. And so I would work on Antlers, and then I would come home and I'd work on creepy doll stuff for Gerard and Blumhouse. And man, seeing this trailer is awesome.
Yeah.
And like how bonkers they went with it. I love the vibe and the attitude of it, of course. So super fun. It's just, she's an icon already. So I love it. And very excited. I was messaging the director and I was like, yeah, dude.
That's awesome, dude.
So excited, so I'm thrilled and very excited. I think that comes out next year. So that'll be really rad.
Oh, is it next year?
Next year, I think it's 23.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's the Cuphead challenge and working on Cthulhu and painting over Cenobite dragons. It's been a crazy busy time for us.
It's been exciting.
It is good.
I'm just excited.
I'm just excited by monsters and having
to go ahead and pose these fingers and send it on over.
All right, Matt. Well, I think what do you think? I think that's a good night, and we're now an hour earlier, so
it feels good.
Cool. It feels good.
I
feel like I'm not like at death's door.
Oh man, it's not 1 o'clock, dude. It's not even midnight here, dude. Yeah. I feel so good about it.
Dude, yes, that's awesome, man. Great people over there. Yeah, heck yeah.
That's cool, Justice. That's dope.
Yeah, buddy.
I would love to work with those guys. Oh, sorry, an error has occurred.
Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us at our new time on Creature Corner. If you want to reach out to us with suggestions, comments, questions, anything, are you watching the show? Do you like it? Check us out here at Twitter and Instagram. You can find us there. That's where we are. And thank you to Lenovo, our sponsor, for sponsoring Creature Corner. Thank you to Gnomon School of Visual Effects, the home of visual effects in West Hollywood, California. Thanks to my dear friend, Matt Millard.
My man.
And then we love you, and we will see you next week on Creature Corner.
We killed it, dude. We killed it.
Good night.
Peace, guys.